From the hill country of Texas, this is One Radio Network. Well, I knew I was in the hill country when I woke up this morning and thought I was in heaven, but I was really in the hill country of Texas, and this is One Radio Network. In case you're setting the watch by us, we are a couple minutes late tonight. Boy, it was quite a day, but hey, you know, that's what it is, what it is. And good evening to you. One Radio Network, we're here every evening between 7 and 8 o'clock Central Time. And my name is Patrick Timpone. I have an old friend of mine who's going to join us tonight. He's driving home. He's in his car. Hi, Don Jansen. How are you? How are things in Florida?
Oh, just fine. It's a beautiful evening, and I'm just heading home. I'll be home in about 5 minutes.
And what part of Florida are you in?
I'm in Fort Myers, the west coast of Florida, down almost to the tip. It's in the tropic zone.
Well, Don Jansen, you and I met up, I guess, I don't know how long ago. It's been probably 10 years now. I don't know, it seems like that.
Long time.
And Don Jansen has been involved in doing research and working with ocean-grown vegetables technology for how long now, Don?
Almost 30 years. 2 years, it'll be 30 years. 28
30 years, really?
Yeah.
I had no idea it was that long.
I came in 1980 and been doing it ever since. Yeah.
Don Jansen, you grew an amazing amount of vegetables using diluted ocean water. Is that right?
Correct. Yes, that's what I did for most of the time. About 20 of the years I did had gardens and hydroponic farms. Yes.
Hydroponic.
Yes.
And
without soil.
Without soil. So that's where you would essentially mix a particular amount of the ocean water, pure ocean water, with a set amount of water, and you would get a particular amount of the total dissolved solids, or what would be the amount of minerals, and then that's what you used to as a growing medium for the vegetables in a hydroponic situation. Is that correct?
Yes, because ocean water carries all 90 elements of the universe in the water balanced out. And, of course, Dr. Maynard Murray taught me that when I bought his farm in the 80s, and I learned from him, and he discovered it and researched it all over the world, and found that it's excellent fertilizer. You dilute it down, only several, kelp, seaweed, coconut trees, they take it straight. It's very high and concentrated of minerals. Well, when you dilute it down with clean water, I usually use rainwater, then I get a phenomenal fertilizer.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feed the plants. I've done it on farms and all kinds of situations.
Mm-hmm. Now, you mix it, say, if you're mixing it with the rainwater, just so we can get an idea of the kind of percentages, even though you do use your meter to figure out exactly, per every gallon of rainwater, how much average do you put in the ocean water?
I put in about 5-6 ounces with 1 gallon of rainwater.
5 to 6 ounces.
Ounces of ocean water.
Uh-huh.
I said, so if I sell you a gallon of ocean water that I get that's clean, anybody can pick it up from the shore, but it's pretty dirty along the shore. You need to go out and make some effort to get away from the coastlines, and then you get better water. Of course, the Gulf is pretty contaminated, so I don't know if there's any good in there, but I go out in the Atlantic and get a gallon of that, and it's clean. We send a sample to the lab to check it, and there's 80 toxins in coastal waters these labs know of. So they check against it, see if I have that in there. And I don't.
And you don't have any in there?
Oh, not found, all 80 of them.
And so that 5 ounces of ocean water per gallon, when you have a total dissolved solids meter, what does that give you? How many?
About 1,500 parts per million.
About 1,500 parts.
That's a good starting point, because the plants should not have too much when they start off. And they can, pretty much most of them can live between 1,500 and 2,000.
Right.
But special ones like tomatoes and certain ones can go up to 3. But some plants, like orchids, can't take 700 parts per million, and they burn up.
Uh-huh.
So herbs and flowers are very delicate, so you got to be much slower. But just in vegetables, 1,500 is a good number for almost all of them.
Right. I hope you're going to get home soon. We got a really bad connection. It's kind of breaking up.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Well, once you get home, we'll get you into a real good. We'll have you walk around the house until it really gets clear.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah, and
I'm home now. I'll be on it in a second.
Okay, good. Okay, if you just joined us, I know I can see a bunch of you just popped on. Welcome. Good evening. It's a little bit after 7 Central Time. This is One Radio Network, and you're in for a real treat. Don't go away, because Don Jansen is here, and he's been working with ocean-grown technology, using ocean water to get minerals into your plants for a very long time, almost 30 years. And this is, well, I don't want to get dramatic here, but this is where the rubber meets the road. This is the real deal. Because if you can get this broad spectrum of minerals in your body from the ocean, because in the ocean the minerals are, Don Jansen, they're the exact proportion as a human body. Is that correct?
Yes. The ocean water is much like our own blood. And they've used it for that. Doctors in the military have actually injected, when they had no serum or no blood plasma, they injected ocean water into soldiers that were dying, and it helped them immensely. They could take it.
They actually...
It's not recommended frequently to do that, but it was a lifesaver.
They actually put...
Ocean water.
Pure ocean water or diluted?
Diluted down.
Diluted down.
And it fit right in their bloodstream, and they saved guys and brought them back to life.
Man, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's very much it's proportionate, like our plasma in our blood should be.
Uh-huh.
But of course, we're missing a lot of the elements, so not all blood is that way. It's missing most of the elements, and that's the problem. That's why we're sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our telephone number is 888-1-NET-6, 888-1-NET-6. We'll either pick it up live on the air, you can ask a question, or if I put you on hold, then that means that you're ready to go. You'll hear the program on hold. Don't hang up, and we'll get you on. My name is Patrick Timpone with Don Jansen. Are you home yet?
Yes, I'm hooked up. Everything's fine.
Okay, you're fine. It's still not the best in ever connection, but hey, it's going to be what it is. I want you to talk right into the phone and nice and loud so we can pick you up here, okay?
Okay, great.
Okay, good. So you use this ocean-grown technology in Florida, and tell us about the setup you had there and what kind of an abundance of vegetables that you grew a lot of vegetables.
Well, I bought the doctor's farm, which was 5 acres, and in the first year I found out it wasn't big enough. I started growing tomatoes and cucumbers and beans, and the stores right away wanted more and more and more, and I didn't have enough land. I was done, finished right away, and I could use more of that every bit of stuff sells. And because it was so nutritious and full of elements.
Don, can you move around somewhere because you're cutting out on us?
Okay.
You're cutting out on us.
Okay, let me try again. Can you hear me better now?
Right now, yeah. I'll let you know. Go ahead. So you had 5 acres, right?
Yeah, and it wasn't enough. People were asking for more, so then I quit that farm, sold it, and bought a 12-acre farm, 12 acres of hydroponics. And it was an abandoned farm, and I had to clean it up, but I got 5 acres totally productive out of 11, and it was incredible what I produced. I mean, an acre of hydroponics is so much more fruitful than an acre of land. You can get so much more because you bring the fertilizer to the plant. The plants can be put much closer together. The nutrition is given to the plants every day and used over and over and over for a month, every day, the same nutrition.
Folks, I want to tell you that Don Jansen helped me set up a little hydroponic system. It's not all that small. It's about 40 feet long, 4 feet wide, here in Dripping Springs. And then I started my market and all that, and I've never really used it. Do you believe it? but it's all set up, and we're going to do it now this year. If I don't get it right away, we're going to do at least for a fall garden, but I may just roll with it now because in Texas you can do it anytime, right? It doesn't matter. It does get a little hot here, but yeah, you're welcome to come over, contact me, and see how we set it up. And also, we're going to put some videos on our website so you can watch as well. Now, Don, the way you helped me set up was with gravel, right?
Yes.
So there's no dirt whatsoever.
No, none whatsoever. My 2 farms were with gravel, but I built other kinds where you just have a tube with water flowing through it continuously. It's a 4-inch tube with a hole in the top to put your plant with a little sponge around hanging into the water, and the water moves by continuously.
Oh.
That works as well. Plants love moving water because you get a lot of oxygen in the water.
And would you have this water moving like constantly or just every now and then?
No, I have it moving continuously past the roots. That's one way. And another way is to have a trays where the water stays in and then you change it every so many minutes. Yeah, that's another kind because it needs to get new oxygen to the plants.
Now, the way he set up myself up, folks, is it's a bed, but it slants, right? And we have lots of gravel. It's little pea gravel. And then we have a tank that I mix with rainwater and ocean water to a specific total dissolved solids, right down for about 1,500 parts per million. And then you can just turn on a crank, and it just automatically fills up the bed, and which the roots are down in the gravel. Huh, Don Jansen?
That's right.
And
that's all they need.
And then I would only have to get them wet a couple times a day?
Once a day.
Once a day.
Yeah, that's all. Once a day, and the gravel holds moisture. The sand piles hold moisture very well. So
I see. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you use the same, you pump, you drain it back.
Then you drain it back because it's on a slant, folks, so it drains back out to a little barrel, and we have a float pump, and the float pump, when it gets full, it puts it back into the big barrel. So it's all done with just one little pump. Very, very small pump.
Correct. And then you can use the same, people keep, because the fertilizer companies have hoodwinked farmers into believing, you need 50 pounds on acre this year, you're going to need 80 pounds next year. They keep dumping it on our soil. And if you ever grow hydroponically, you find out that I actually lost very little nutrition out of the ocean water. The water evaporated and my concentration of nutrition got stronger daily. And I'd have to add fresh water in the middle of the month.
No kidding.
Yeah, I never added fertilizer ever after the first dose.
You'd actually have to add more water because that's amazing.
Because those little roots don't eat that much. We keep thinking like our obese Americans eat. That's what we were thinking of.
Uh-huh.
And, of course, the fertilizer company loves to say a lot of fertilizer, so they're never going to tell you that, hey, the plants don't eat much.
Mm-hmm.
So they dump a lot on there, and that's why we have toxic lakes and rivers, because that runoff is terrible. It's way too much.
Mm-hmm.
It's way too excessive.
Mm-hmm. Now, and I found out from Don Jansen that the dirt doesn't do anything. The dirt is just a medium like the rocks. What the plants need are nutrients, right?
Right.
Uh-huh.
If the soil has nutrition in it, you're lucky. But it's been leached for so many million years in the United States and most countries in the world now that it's all in the ocean. It's out of the soil. And they put in 3 and 4 and 5, maybe 10 elements, but that's a long ways from 90 in the ocean. So we're always underfed. Most food is empty, basically.
So the ocean has 90 elements. If you dilute ocean water, then you can get that beautiful spectrum of minerals introduced to the plants, and then now those plants don't uptake everything because they're all designed to only uptake a certain amount. Correct?
Right. Yeah. Tomatoes pick up 56. Sweet potatoes pick up 69. Basically around there, 69, 68, 65. Tomatoes 56, 55, 57. They stay right in that area, and they continually do it, and all tomatoes do. And however, I found out that wheatgrass picks it all up. grasses pick up all the elements, and that is phenomenal. That's why really I've quit growing vegetables and grow mainly wheatgrass anymore.
And that's one of the most amazing things. When did you find that out, that grass will take up every mineral that you introduce to it?
Well, I set a farm up at the University, Gulf Coast University, asked me to set up a test plant there, so I set up a 4-bed garden on their facility by the power plant. And I also grew tomatoes in competition with their regular fertilizer. And at the end, our fertilizer was superior in every way. Our plants were hardier. We put way more pounds on. The tomatoes lasted way longer. Everything was better in every aspect. So, but when I was finished, I had set some of the tomatoes, and I had put basil as a companion plant between the tomatoes. And I also had grass growing on the side, not on the beds, but on my own. So I took those good tomatoes and my wheatgrass and checked the enzymes in the lab close by here in Gainesville. And it came back that the essential amino acids of wheatgrass were 5 times higher than my ocean-grown tomatoes, all 21. And I thought, why am I knocking myself out for 3 months to grow a tomato when wheatgrass I can clip every 10 days, and I have a food that has 5 times more amino acids. It picks up all the elements. I had that tested, and sure enough, it took all of them. It's such a superior plant when you feed it ocean water that it's not worth growing other food.
Yeah, but then you got to eat grass your whole life, though. That could get boring.
Well, the cattle don't seem to mind it, so I figured I'd join them. The buffalo.
Yeah, the buffalo. Don Jansen's with us. If you'd like to join us, 888-1NET6, 888-1NET6 is the telephone number on One Radio Network. I just think it's amazing that with all the species on the planet, that grass, which is, I would assume, one of the more plentiful species on the planet, in God's infinite wisdom, will uptake every mineral that you introduce to it.
Yeah, it's just so mind-boggling. And now I understand why the animals don't have desserts and appetizers and a steak every day. And they just graze all day long, and they're healthy, and they're hardy, and they're fat, especially if they get the elements put on their grass. Oh, my goodness, they go crazy.
Oh, you mean if you...
Well, if I spread ocean water on the grass that they're eating, they don't stop. They stand right there and graze that grass and leave all the rest of it go, because they can taste they got a nutritious piece of grass here.
And you've done that. Did you do some work with some buffalo herds?
Yes, I did that with buffalo. The buffalo never wanted to eat along roads.
Right.
So I took ocean water and I put it along the roads, and the buffalo wouldn't quit. They came to the road and they laid down and they ate on that, and they all summer they stayed by the road. And they hate people and cars and stuff, so they usually hit. And that summer they grazed on that edge just like lawnmowers. It was incredible. It was so different. I knew that I had something there. Well,
animals know. They know intuitively what's in the grass. I mean, I watch my dog sometime, Bria, a golden retriever, who you'll probably hear bark during this broadcast. She's right outside. And she'll as you know, folks, if you have animals, she'll just pick around and smell and walk around, and she'll know exactly what to eat. Some stuff, she turns up her nose, and all of a sudden she goes, "Oh, yeah, this is good." They just know, man. They just know.
Well, they eat out of my trays if I lay them down. Sometimes I have a pad. I'm finished with it, and it has some grass on it. They come over, and the cats and the dog, they will eat that grass right off the top, pull it off the top, and chew it. Now,
folks listening now, and it's easy to get. You can get gallons of ocean water, and not very expensive at all, and it's easy to get. They can use this for what kinds of things around the house, Don?
The ocean water to feed plants, all plants. All plants need nutrition, and all plants would love to have that buffet of 90 elements on the table so they could select. They'll do the selecting, and we don't really know what they need. We keep talking like this plant needs this and that plant needs that. I doubt if we really know it, because they've never had a full smorgasbord of elements. Mm-hmm. And when you put them down, the plant will eat and take exactly what it needs out of that, which is incredible. Then you won't have any bug problem. If a plant can eat total nutrition, then the bugs won't even come close to it. I've grown now 20 years of gardens, and I never sprayed a plant, and the bugs never bothered it. I grew a papaya has known for white fly, and I grew a whole bed of 100-foot bed of papaya, 2 rows in it, and the papaya were incredible. Well, specialists came to visit me in papaya, and they saw them, and they came and looked at mine, and they said, "What do you spray it with?" I said, "Nothing." And they said, "You have to be spraying with something." I said, "I don't." They didn't believe me. I said, "Why? What should I be spraying it for?" They said, "Papaya has white fly all the time, and there's no exception to it." I had none. I went back and looked after they left, and I don't have any white fly. I never did. I didn't know I was supposed to.
I didn't know I was supposed to have it. How am I going to have it? Right?
Not when you give them nutrition. There was no white fly there.
So as farmers and scientists and health people have told us since the beginning of time that the parasites and the bugs and the little critters, they only eat the decaying matter, right?
Yeah, right. They're there to eat dying, dead, or vibrating, gonna die plants. And that's what they pick up on our cornfields and our wheat fields, and they're inadequate. And so they help themselves, and then we get mad and shoot ourselves in the foot.
Mm-hmm.
So pathetic. It's so, and many books have been written about total nutrition will, solve your bug problem. But we don't do it. We don't have total nutrition. You can't buy 90 elements on the shelf or 50 elements.
No.
You can buy 20. Mm-hmm. That's about it.
But the ocean water has 90, right?
Yeah. Well, 11 of them are gases, so I'll give you the break and say if they at least had 80, 78, then you'd have all the heavier ones and not the gases. But they don't have that.
And folks, if you've just joined us, Don said that ocean water is in the exact proportion as the human body and blood. Is that correct, Don Jansen?
Yes, the hemoglobin of the blood is identical in what we should have in our blood.
So are you saying like the relationship, the percentage of like niacin to copper to this to that is exactly as the ocean?
Yes.
Boy, that's a little Star Trek music.
That shows how short we are. We don't have gold in our blood, but it's in the ocean. We should have it. We're electrical, and we ought to have those metals in us, and we don't, because you can buy iron and maybe some copper and some. That's about it. I don't know of any other metals you can get, but there's all of them are in the ocean water, and they're dissolved in the water. It's incredible. It's ready to be taken up by the plant.
Well, can you dilute your rainwater or something a little bit and drink some of that?
Yeah, I use it whenever I take it a lot for all my animals and myself. I drink it often. Yes.
About how many parts per million? I heard about 500. Does that sound right?
What?
500 parts per million?
In the ocean water? I mean, in the rainwater?
Yeah.
No, it's 0.
No. If you had rainwater and you wanted to put some ocean water in to drink.
To drink.
Could you put it about 500 ppms?
Yeah.
About 500?
That'd be about right, yes.
Mm-hmm.
500 parts per million, yes. And I've drunk, yes. I know some people that have drunk it for years. I know one gentleman in Miami who's drunk 2 years a liter every day, straight.
Straight ocean?
35,000, not 500, 35,000.
He drank straight ocean water?
Yeah, he has for 2 years now.
How's he look and feel?
Oh, he's 80 years old and as alive as you'd have to believe it works.
Well, but we've always thought that ocean water straight will kill you, right?
Well, Dr. Murray, my mentor, said that the plant needs to have the ocean water, have the elements come through it and add a carbon atom to make it organic.
Mm-hmm.
So they need to go to the plant because the plants are the only manufacturers of organic in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Man hasn't been able to do that yet. They will as soon as they can, but they haven't been able to. So he said it's very necessary, like salt in the celery. He said it's adequate, but it's not harmful to your body.
Mm-hmm.
But straight, he never recommended, and I wish he were alive so I could ask him about that. But there's some other answers. If I were out to sea and I were, in a raft and needed water, I'd drink ocean water. You bet I would.
Oh, sure.
I'd try to dilute it down with some rainwater, but I'd drink it.
Yeah, and the more and more people I talk to, lots of them are very, very highly qualified people that I trust. They say in the right dilutions and the right amounts that there's no reason why you can't somehow your body figures out how to get those minerals. I don't know. They figured out how to do it.
I've had friends who tried it in Hawaii, and they got very sick. They must have drank too much too fast.
Mm-hmm, sure.
They did it for a month, and they thought they were going to die. So.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well,
I did it for about a month, and I still, in my mind, I kept repeating what Murray told me, and he said it needs to go to the plants first. So I have his plants here. I have wheatgrass. So
Sure.
Plant. I'm still not.
Sure. Now,
sure.
If folks wanted to read a book or two about this, so which one do you recommend? The Maynard Murray book?
Yeah, I think Sea Energy Agriculture is a real good book to get from Acres USA. And Minerals of the Ocean Deep is one that Charles Walters wrote, head of Acres. That's another book that he wrote about my work and my pictures and stuff in it. So those two books, if you're interested in the minerals and how it works and what it does, those two books are exceptional.
Sea Energy Agriculture by Maynard Murray and Minerals of the Ocean
Deep.
Of the Ocean Deep. That's by Walters.
Charles Walters, yeah. Mm-hmm. Those two books are very, very interesting, very helpful.
And if you'd like to join us tonight, 888-1-NET-6. We have lots of time. We're going to cover a lot of territory about nutrition, about fertilization, about wheatgrass and minerals, and even doing some enemas. We'll do an enema tonight, okay, Don?
That would help us. Good movement.
You know, I just cracked open a book by Norman Walker, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. What a guy he is. And it's called Become Younger. And I tell you what, you read about 20 pages of Norman Walker's books, and you probably never cook food again in your life. You know, it's like,
right.
Well, you know, he was a pretty amazing guy, wasn't he?
Yeah. Do you know how old he was when he passed?
No, I don't.
119.
You're kidding.
Oh, I talked to his wife. I spoke to him on the phone. I never got to meet him, but I spoke to him on the phone a number of times. And all of a sudden he died, and I called his wife and told her my condolences. And I said, how old was he? Norman. He said 119.
119.
And the book about him says, others have written, and the Juice Man says that Norman never drank a glass of water after he was 17 years of age.
After he was 17?
Never drank a glass of water. He drank it all in juices.
All in
his
juice.
Water came through juices.
Yeah.
He never drank water again.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Well, you know, there's many people that believe that that's the way it was designed to work.
Well, it worked for him, my goodness, and he
119.
He went to sleep.
Yeah, he just went to sleep. Amazing. And boy, he was into enemas and colonics, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
I mean, he was like...
He was sick, though, when he was young. He helped himself at 17. He finally found out his problem and got cured.
Yeah.
And, boy, I recommend the same thing, man. Enemas are incredible. Everybody should do it, at least a couple of years.
Folks, if you'd like to learn more about the inside of your body, the stomach and the intestines and how it all works, and Norman Walker, he's probably got 25 books.
Yeah, he does.
But you might try this one that I just picked up at Amazon.com, was Become Younger. And I just cracked it. And then, once again, boy, you just get so fired up about doing more and more juices and raw foods and really thinking about what food is really there for, other than just our, sensual pleasure. And even though we all love to do it, I mean, I was thinking this afternoon out on the porch is like, I've had about probably thousands and hundreds of thousands of lives, Don Jansen, or maybe 1 million, and I've spent all those whole lives eating, and it's fun, right? And so maybe I can just say, okay, well, what's going to really help me to excel this lifetime, to really be able to serve or do more work? You know what I mean? And maybe it is substituting what I know to be the very, very best for my body, other than what is essentially more attractive, like a bowl of oatmeal.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, you know that David Wolf says in his books, at the end of every chapter, cooked food is poison. That's his last sentence of all of his chapters.
No kidding. Well,
yeah, he says it in every chapter. It's sort of funny, but he says it over and over. Cooked food is poison.
Well, yeah, Dave does very well for himself, and he's a fireball. And so many people that I respect are raw food advocates, living food advocates. Just to name them, Dr. Bob Marshall, David Wolf, Dr. Gabriel Cousins, Annie Jubb, David Jubb, Harvey Diamond. I mean, so many people, that really look at the body intimately and are doing amazing things, amazing work. They eat living foods. They don't they don't mess around with putting fire to it.
Yeah, I in every place I've lived in the last 20 years, I just take the stove out. I don't have any stove in my house. I just take it out and don't use it. I've done it about 5 times, but I won't even be tempted to have a stove. Don't need it. Because we can eat all the food processed or arranged and raw, and it's so much better. So much better for your digestion. You don't have heartburn. You don't have any of the problems. It's incredible.
Now, let's talk about the wheatgrass then.
Okay,
so now you have a lot of people have a problem with wheatgrass because it's kind of yucky for some people, right?
It's strong. It's hard to drink.
Yeah, it's kind of strong stuff.
It's very strong.
Uh-huh.
And I struggled with it for a number of years. My father, in his 80s and 90s, drank 8 ounces a day for 2 years because he'd been very sick as a child, and all of his life he had cancer. And in the 80s, when I got him to Florida, he drank peroxide and got rid of all of his cancer, got totally disinfected. And my mother died, so he drank juices. So he drank wheatgrass every day, and the results from 8 ounces of wheatgrass every day were incredible. His hair all grew in, his beard turned black, his eyesight became 20/20, his skin became clear, all of his age spots left. It was incredible. He looked younger, and he lived to 94 and went to sleep.
That's 8. He did 8 ounces of wheatgrass for how long?
2 years.
2 years.
Every day. We kept him in the wheatgrass, make sure 4 ounces every morning, 4 ounces every evening. And I have a friend in Canada who tried it, and I said, I wonder if we shouldn't drink more. If 8 is good for you, what would 12 do? And so he did 16 for 2 years. And he said it doesn't make a difference. He figures 8 is a maximum. More isn't necessarily better. He saw no difference from between 8 and 16.
So why do you suppose your dad then, as he was getting so healthy, passed on? He just had so many other things that were not right.
He had used up so many of his enzymes all through his life, and he didn't feel like he was needed anymore here. I put him in a rest home only so he could meet people. He was totally healthy, gave himself baths, did everything, got his driver's license at 90 years of age. But he needed friends. He'd sit alone at home and wait for me to come over and talk with him, and I didn't like that. So I said, I'm going to put you in a home at night. It was a real bad one.
And then he died, yeah.
And he was there 1 week, and that Friday we had a party because I'd got him moved in, and that night I got home at 1 in the morning, and they called me and said, your father just passed away. And I had to laugh because I figured he thought, we had a good time, we've had good, but I'm not staying there.
Yeah, he said, I'm out of here. I'm not going to do this kind of stuff. But his hair turned black at how old?
His hair all grew in. He was in his 90s. And he's been bald, a beard bald with a little ring around the edge ever since I remember as a kid. And all of it grew in. All of it grew in.
That's amazing.
Like a mat. It was incredible. I had to give him haircuts.
If you're just joining us, folks, Don Jansen's father started drinking 8 ounces of the ocean-grown now. It's a big difference. The ocean-grown wheatgrass at how old?
88, 89.
After a year of after a whole lifetime of just standard American diet, huh?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Cooked food. Good German cooked dead food.
Wow. Dead food for 78 years or 88 years. And then his hair started growing back. That's amazing, man. And so that's got to be... That's got to be just the minerals, huh, Don Jansen?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's lack of minerals that causes people to lose their hair, you bet. And Wigmore drank wheatgrass, and her hair all grew in, and she had a bushy black head of hair. Now, had Dad done it for 5 years or 7, he'd have a big head of hair. He would have had it too.
And Wigmore didn't even do the ocean grown. So,
No.
so I mean, look at the difference.
Yeah, it made a big difference, even though it wasn't ocean grown.
But now you've come up with something that I'm excited about because, for me and for many people, the wheatgrass, ocean grown or not, is pretty harsh stuff. I mean, it's hard. It's just rough stuff. But now tell us about what you've done, which I'm very jazzed about.
Well, I've wanted to dehydrate the wheatgrass and powder it and put it in capsules. I've wanted that for years, and I had a gentleman who was going to grind it and dry it for me, and his machine didn't work. He couldn't do my wheatgrass. He built a vortex dryer that spun your product around and tore it up and dried it all in the same process in about 90 degrees. When you have expanded air shooting into a funnel kind of thing, it cools things off. It doesn't heat them up, and it was incredible. It would dry the grass at about 90 degrees. I loved it, and tear it up into powder.
Wow.
But I shipped him a pound of my grass, and he called back the next day, and he says, I don't know what happened. He says, I spun your grass in my machine, and a little bit of powder came out, not enough for a pound of grass. I waited and waited and waited and waited and ran it. Finally, I shut it off. No more was coming. And a lump fell out like a Brillo pad. It was incredible. It would not tear up. He couldn't tear it up. He says, I have never experienced this in my life.
Now, why do you suppose that is?
I think it's because I have metals in my food.
Oh, you mean because of the ocean? You got all the good metals, silver and gold, and all the stuff.
Tungsten and everything. It's all in there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's never had food that had gold and silver and platinum and tin and iron and all that. It's in mine. All of it's in there.
Well, that's what really makes the body work, right?
Yeah, well, we're electrical. We need the metals. We can't live on pasta, and electricity doesn't run good on donuts.
Electricity.
Much better on metals.
Yeah.
We need them.
Yeah.
We're basically electrical. Well, we can't live a percentage of a second without electricity, but we can live without food for a month or water without a week and air for a few minutes, but we can't live without electricity. We're done instantly.
Yes, we are.
Less than a second. So you've got to have a good electrical system, and we don't have it.
So you have figured out a way how to dehydrate the ocean-grown wheatgrass. And tell us about how you do that.
Well, I bought 3 Excalibur dryers, and I dried it about 95, between 95 and 100.
So you still have plenty of the enzymes, right?
Yeah, doesn't hurt the enzymes. And I lay it on the trays, and in about 12 to 15 hours, it's very dry. And then I bought a herbal grinder, a stainless steel one that really does a good job. I used to put it in just a blade kitchen food processor and grind and grind and grind and grind. Oh, I ruined 3 of them. They all burned up. They couldn't take the work. But I finally bought a good pharmaceutical grinder. And boy, it works like a charm. It has herbs and all this sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
It has a screen. It has 2 hammers that spin around. And boy, they just grind it up into wonderful flour.
Wow.
And it's so fine that I know that there's miles of surface, that you get. The smaller you grind it, the more surface you have. And that's what I want for our bodies, to have a lot of surface of these minerals in them.
Yes.
So it absorbs into our body.
Yeah.
So I've got it now. And then I'm getting a capsule machine next week to do 100 capsules at a time. I'm doing one at a time now.
You're doing it by hand, one at a time?
Yeah, one at a time. I have a little 50 capsule plate where I put them in.
Oh, that's amazing.
Capsules, put them in and pound it in there, and then I put the lids on.
Well, you're forgiven then for the bottle that I ordered, because now if you're doing one at a time, I'm wondering, I know why it's taking so long. I thought you just forgot about me.
Be patient. No, it's just that I'm trying to keep up with the orders I have.
That's
Next week I'll have plenty. I'll send you all you ever wanted.
That's so funny. That is so.
I can do 1,500 capsules an hour with the new gadget.
Wow. So you have a whole room of wheatgrass that you're growing now, ocean grown?
Oh yeah. I've got a trailer that has racks on the side, and I grow 30, 40 trays every week, and it's going to go up and more. I got more demand all the time. So it's coming out good.
So this is fun. So if one wanted to get then to that 8 ounces, which right now you think that's a pretty magical amount for real excellent health to get an amazing amount of minerals, how many caps would you take of your product then once you get it available for people?
Well, I tried to estimate, and when you have wheatgrass juice, and I sell you a pint of wheatgrass juice, half of it's water.
Right.
You let it set, there's half of it's the green chlorophyll, and the upper half is all water.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really cheating people, and I didn't like it. I knew that. And then you throw away that fiber going out of the end of the juicer, and I didn't know what was in there. Now I get rid of that water, and I get all the rest and put it in the capsule. I'm very happy with it. You're getting all the wheatgrass and not overdosed or overheated. So you're getting everything you ever need.
Mm-hmm.
And the guys are taking it now. It's so easy. I recommend 8 capsules a day. 8
caps, which would be about 8 ounces, equivalent more or less?
It's 2 capsules make a teaspoon, so you get 4 good teaspoons a day of wheatgrass powder.
Mm-hmm. No, but I mean, that would be equivalent to about 8 ounces down with the juice? About 8 ounces?
It would be, yes. No, with no water included.
Wow, that'd be great, man.
It is. It's incredible.
And you could you put it right down in your tummy, and then you're getting all those ocean minerals.
No bad taste, no after effects.
Oh, that's a beautiful thing.
I've wheatgrass once since I've taken it. And the guys are taking it. When they work, they tell me they take 4 in the morning. And then if they don't have a chance to get a sandwich or something, they take 4 at noon and 4 in the evening. They just keep right working. And Florida's pretty hot. And they work on roofs and build houses.
Yeah.
They said, man, they can go all day and not get shaky. That's incredible.
That's really cool. Boy, you talk about a supplement that supplements when you're getting all the full spectrum of ocean minerals just by taking 8 capsules. Man, that's, if you talk about a silver bullet, that could be the closest thing we know so far.
Yeah. Plus, it's a survival food. I do think we're going to have problems getting food with the price of fuel and the people getting gardens to us and the vegetables from all over the world.
Sure.
It's going to change stuff. Airlines are going bankrupt. It's going to be hard to get food on the shelf for us.
Yeah.
We need some survival food. And, man, I'll be like the cattle. I'll graze every day.
What kind of shelf life do you think it's going to have?
I'm sure that the capsule is such a sealant, and I seal it in a bag, a plastic bag, totally sealed, no air gets in. I think, and if you put it in a cool refrigerator just to keep cool, a year for sure, but it's going so fast, I don't have anything older than mine are all within the month age. I'll be stamping them when I made them.
Yeah, and once the word gets out, you're going to have so much business you won't know what to do with it all.
Well, I'm trying to get ready for it because people now, they're just word of mouth. They're saying, hey, I understand you're doing it. Would you provide me? I have a clinic or I have a massage parlor, and I'd love to have those on there and give them to my people. So it's growing. Oh, I'm just busy, so I get out.
You're gonna be a big business typhoon again. Are you ready for that, Don?
Oh, no. I want to try to keep it down. I don't want to get
too
a bunch of people and all this, all the restrictions you've got to follow when you have more than employees. I'm not going to have any.
Sure.
I'm going to get machinery. You can get up to a $10,000 machine that'll do everything.
Really?
The capsules.
Just do the whole thing, huh?
They'll jiggle them into a plate. They'll fill them up. You put the powder in the bin. It'll stomp them, and they'll put the lids all on and everything.
Now, tending to all that wheatgrass, is that pretty labor intensive as well? Or can you automate some of that? Yeah, growing it? Yeah.
No, it would be very easy if I had the right building, and I'll have to change building. I'm in a wooden floor trailer house where I grow it, but I'm going to build a dome with a cement floor so that the temperature stays about 70 in the dome year-round, and that'll help me for electricity, and then I can have spritzers on the wheatgrass automatically spritzing it. All I have to do is put the trays in and pick them out and cut the grass. And now I have to go in and water once a day. And
what dilution of the ocean water and rainwater parts per million do you use for the wheatgrass? I
use 2,000 for sure.
2,000.
And I'm moving up to 2,500, and it doesn't hurt the grass at all. I think I'll end up giving it 3,000.
Wow.
Grass loves it. It's incredible. I want to see if I can't feed grass 3,000 parts per million.
Wow. That's pretty heavy dose, right?
Yeah, it's going to get more potent all the time. It's potent now. I mean, at 2,500, that's what I give it now.
Now, do you use hydrogen peroxide to keep the mold, or with the ocean water, do you get mold?
Well, all rainwater has peroxide in it. That's to start with. So what water I catch has peroxide in it, and then I do add a little bit of 35% food grade into it, and all of my batches of water. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you mean? Go ahead.
I just want the plant to take it up, so it has a lot of oxygen to help us.
Yeah.
So we can get more oxygen and not cook it and get it into our bodies. We're short of oxygen.
And then what's the benefits then of chlorophyll we get from grass?
Oh, it also is. It's just like our blood plasma, except the center element is iron in our blood, and it's what is it? Phosphorus? No, I forget what the green coloring is. That's the only difference. All the rest is the same. Chlorophyll is again like our blood. So it's another. It's like you get a blood transfusion every day if you drink it.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
We have time for a call or two. I know you're out there. I can tell because we have controls to tell us how many listeners. If you'd like to have a quick a comment or a question for Don Jansen, it's 888-1-NET6, 888-1-NET6, and we'll just pick it up and you can ask him a question. We got to get you up here to the Dripping Springs area and do a little workshop again. Remember we did one some years ago, and we had like 100 people, and you just talked about the ocean-grown technology. We had a ball.
Yeah. This time I'll show them how to grow grass. We've got to get more serious about that.
Show people how to grow wheatgrass. That'd be great.
Everybody should learn that. I just had a class here in Naples last week, and we had about 35 people came, and I brought trays and showed different stages of it, and a lot of them are growing it this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we need to. In our houses, we can grow our own grass, and it's incredible. We need to supplement our food with good food.
Do you use the then fluorescent lights for the lighting?
Just regular, fluorescent lights are fine. For plants that don't set flower, regular, any kind of light bulb works. But if you're going to have fruit set and a blossom set, you need ultraviolet. Yes, then you need a special bulb.
Hi, where are you calling from?
San Marcos.
Okay, go ahead. Well, you're on there.
Yes, the question is, when you talk about the ratios of the ocean water to rainwater, are we measuring 2,000 to 500 parts per million as conductivity or total dissolved solids, or is that the actual physical ratio?
You got to turn down your computer a little bit. He said total dissolved solids.
Yeah. And you can measure it the other way with conductivity, but TDS is very what I like to measure with,
TDS.
That answers it. Thank you so much.
Well, you're quite welcome. Glad you're out there. Yeah. So total dissolved solids, that's what you do, right? And
TDS meter.
Yeah, you get one of those little meters. They're very inexpensive, aren't they? I have a couple of them, and
H&M Digital sells them on the internet for $25, I think.
H&M Digital.
Yeah.
On the internet for $25.
They're very good. I've used mine for years. They're very good.
Don Jansen, I have some fruit trees outside and fig trees, and I've been giving them a solution. What would be the best ratio, the TDS, for those kinds of things?
I'd say trees can easily take 2,000.
About 2,000 parts per million?
At least once a week, give them a drink. I did this.
Oh, I could do it once a week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they'll love you.
Really?
And if you have a big tree like an avocado tree or an orange tree, about a 5-gallon bucket, just ring it right around the stem, the trunk, and then let it pour out where the roots are.
Okay.
The size of the bush above it. And, man, that's a good drink. And then the rainwater will take it down to them.
Okay. So I'll get about a 5-gallon bucket of it, fill it up with my rainwater, and dump in enough ocean water for 2,000 parts per million. And once a week, just have a go, huh?
Oh, yeah. Do that this summer, and they'll love you.
Folks, I got to tell you, I gave these small fig trees, they're only about 2 feet high, some ocean water about a week and a half ago, and you cannot believe what happened in the last week and a half. I mean, you could tell the difference.
Yeah.
I'm just blown away. It's like, okay, now where are folks going to get ocean water? Because I brought in a few barrels for myself years ago from, let's see, Kevin up in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
How can folks get it?
I have a friend in Miami who goes out in the Atlantic, and he's getting it now, and he can send you a 5-gallon bucket to UPS.
Okay.
And he gets, I think it's $17 a gallon he wants for it.
Yeah.
That's what I pay him for it.
But that's a good deal because it's going to last a very long time.
Well, diluted down to 5 ounces to get your 1,500, that gives you about 35 gallons. When you buy a 5-gallon bucket, that's quite a bit of fertilizer for a garden and for plants in the house.
Oh, especially if you do hydroponic, right?
Yeah, reuse.
And then, this is just the beginning of the revolution, right? So once we really get enough people around the area, like the Dripping Springs area, but the Austin area, we'll be able to get enough people so we can get a truckload and stuff like that. And then people can get a whole barrel for a lot less money.
And they could go to your coastline, go in the Gulf, stay away from the big cities, and go out about 10, 15 miles a boat, get you a bunch of barrels of it. It'll be a lot cheaper.
Yeah, we can figure it out ourselves. But
we recommend that.
But first we need to get, a few hundred people who are into it and that kind of thing. That'll just take a little while, but we'll build it with One Radio Network. And because come the revolution, folks, what we need is just food. We need food. We need some minerals so we can think clearly, right?
Right. And you can survive and stay healthy even though there won't be good food. That's how Ann Wigmore lived through the Second World War. She and her mother and her grandmother hid up in the attic. And the night, little Ann would go out and tear off grass. And the next day they sat up in the attic and chewed everything downstairs was stolen. Good soldiers would come tromping down. They didn't know the women were up in the attic.
Right.
But they lived through the Second World War off of grass, off the land. Now, had they had wheatgrass, it would have been better growing in ocean water, but they didn't know that.
Yeah, I've heard that story. Isn't it a wonderful story, folks? So that's actually how Ann Wigmore got to start, right? That's how she figured out how powerful grass was.
Yeah, that's right.
And if you've just joined us, Don Jansen said at the beginning of the program that he stumbled on the fact that grass is the one species on the planet that will uptake every mineral that you introduce to it. Every mineral. The other species like sweet potatoes or celery, they're Don, they're kind of genetically designed to only pick up a certain amount, right?
Yeah, and when you get hybrid seeds, they're overdosed, genetically engineered to take up way more NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, than you would out of ocean water. When you use ocean water, the best seeds to get are open pollinated heirloom seeds, and then they match the ocean beautifully. I've never altered the fertilizer.
Yeah.
And when I had hybrids, I had to add stuff. Yeah. So
they manufacture these seeds to just take up the NPK stuff.
Right. Way more than normal. Yeah. Yeah.
Boy. Do you think that's why we're all kind of silly because we don't have enough minerals? It's hard to think clear. You think so?
That's why we're sick and we don't feel good and we don't have energy. You bet. People always have all kinds of ailments. They don't have the. It's like telling you to repair your house and you want a new roof put on, and when the guy comes to repair it, he wears the shingles. He says, I don't have any, but fix it. Well, what's he going to do? There's no nails, no shingles. That's why we do our bodies. There's nothing to repair it, and we are made from the elements, and we've got to have the elements to repair. The body will heal itself if we give it the elements. It knows what to do with it, but you got to have the shingles there.
Mm-hmm.
It won't do it.
Got to have them. Don, do you have an email if folks want to reach you?
Yes, sure. It's Donald.Jansen at gmail.com.
Donald.Jansen at gmail.com.
Right, yeah. Glad to answer questions, help people get started.
Yeah, and as we get going, now that I'm at this full time, we're going to be able to do a lot more, but we can take some photos of our whole setup here in Dripping. And folks, again, I'll offer an invitation to you. Don helped me set up a really beautiful system that's hydroponic in gravel, and you can get an idea. I invite you over. Just email me, Patrick at oneradionetwork.com, Patrick at oneradionetwork.com. I'd be happy to have you come over. You can take a look at it and then build your own at home. And it's a beautiful thing because you don't have to just once a day. You could actually put it on a timer, and since there's no weeds, you wouldn't have to do anything.
That's right. Automatically water.
You wouldn't have to do anything. You just the garden.
Go out and pick the fruit.
Yeah, just go out and pick the fruit. Well, I'm glad you told me about that. My fruit trees. Well, I'm excited about that. I didn't know you could water them once a week. Wow.
Oh yeah. They don't need it every day at all because they got massive roots, and that's the most I've ever. In fact, I changed the whole orchard around with all the dying. They call it young tree decline, YTD, and he had a bunch of dead trees in his grove, and I watered them 3 times in 3 months, in 4 months. I did June, July, skipped August, and did September, but we put 15 gallons around each tree. Those trees jumped out of the ground, and they look like they're dead. No fruit, no leaves. They usually pull them out and put a little tree in there. Well, he wanted to fix them. He didn't know how to do it, so we fed them the ocean water, and they all broke into blossom and leaves, and you couldn't see which tree had been dead.
That's
by
amazing.
Christmas, we started in June, and by Christmas they were full grown.
That's amazing.
All back going. It was incredible.
Great. That's great. Well, Don Jansen, it's a pleasure to have you here. So we'll keep in touch, and once we get some, with my KLBJ show, that we could get together 100 people easy for a workshop on a weekend, and we'll do.
I'd love to do it.
Yeah, we'll do a whole thing. We'll do a whole thing.
Okay.
Thank you so much, my friend, and keep working on my bottle of the capsules now, will you? Don't forget about it.
I'll get you an order out.
I know.
Shortly. I got my machine.
I didn't realize you're doing them one by one, man.
Every one of them individually.
Can't give you a hard time.
I did 5 sets of 50 today, so I got 5 packets ready to go.
That's great. I'll see you real soon, partner.
Okay.
Thank you very much. He's a great guy. His email is donald.jansen@gmail.com. donald.jansen@gmail.com. From the hill country of Texas, this is one